You can't hear the car getting cleaned outside, can you?
Is that what that is? I do hear something that's like feedback, but
it sounds like a vacuum. A little.
It might be my AC.
It is a vacuum. Oh no, it is 100%. My husband decided to get our cars detailed today while I'm on the stream. So did you guys hear this?
Yeah, you hear that
yeah.
a little.
It's okay.
It might also be my AC, but it's okay.
All right, well, we are live, and hello, everybody. Welcome to the Star Wars Month stream. We figured we need to throw in a Star Wars stream because it is Star Wars Month. I mean, it's always
this is
Star
the
Wars
May.
Month, but it's May. You know, May the 4th be with you. That already happened. I had surgery on that day, so I couldn't do anything. But hi, we're all here. We're alive, and we're ready to talk about Star Wars and just have fun. Enjoy ourselves. So that's a good thing. So let's go ahead and we'll just get right on to it and get started. And Commander Kelly, let's have you introduce yourself.
Oh, goodness. All right. My name is Kelly. I am the commanding officer for the Judency Garrison here in Arizona. So I dress up as an Imperial officer and a Jawa in the 501st Legion. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a Star Wars nerd, as you can see. You can't see my living room, but it's just as bad. So, yeah, I've been in the Legion since 2017.
And you have experience with the convention side of things, too.
I very much do. I've worked for Phoenix Fan Fusion, Square Entertainment for many years. Still do, technically. So, yeah. Lots of ins and outs for all the costuming and event side. So it's a lot of fun.
Very awesome. Okay, I'll go next then. Hi, everyone. I'm Amber Brite. I'm a professional prop maker here in Phoenix, and I've been cosplaying since, I don't know, a while now. And this is my jam. This is 99% of what I do is Star Wars stuff. So lots of horns and aliens and all sorts of fun things. Love the Star Wars mythos, even if I was raised a Trekkie. So crossing the galaxies there.
That works. All right, Bo-Katan, let's go.
Hi guys, I'm Ambrose Cosplay, or Liz from Ambrose Cosplay. I've been cosplaying for a while. I've only done one Star Wars cosplay, which was Rey. But my hair isn't dark right now, so I didn't do Rey today. I just got this in the mail this week. I was so excited to wear it. And I've been smiling this whole time. I realize you guys can't see that, so I guess I don't need to do that.
Just make faces at the camera. It's fine.
So Bo-Katan is on my list. Obviously, I just got the first piece this week. And I've been looking at the rest of the costume, and I'm like, how the heck am I going to make this? Because I am very new to armor, but I'm still excited. So I'm probably not going to wear this the whole time, but it's so cool. I have to show it off a little bit. So
it's very cool.
Mm-hmm. And Jess, did you introduce yourself? I don't know.
No, I have not. Hi guys, I am Jessica from Jinx Cosplay. I've only ever had one Star Wars cosplay too. I'm really bad, and I actually sold it, so I don't have anything to wear today. I do have some on my to-do list. I know it's awful, but I do have my cool mermaidy sequin shirt that I promise I won't be playing with my chest the whole time.
You have galaxy hair.
I do have galaxy hair. It needs to be touched up a little bit, but I do have galaxy hair. And I've been cosplaying since 2001. And yeah, hi, welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us again. I know we had a break last week, so it's nice to see you all here. Yeah. Sam, did you introduce yourself?
No, I'm about to. I am Sam from ThermoCosplay, and I have done a lot of Star Wars costumes. So, yay, I'm probably not as many as Amber. But but I've done quite a few, and I'm just pretty happy to be here to talk about Star Wars today because I love Star Wars.
I am
and I know like Amber wearing a Trekkie. I'm Trekkie and Star Wars. We're like double, yep. Yeah.
Same.
So today we're just gonna talk. We're kind of gonna talk about how we got into Star Wars, we'll discuss our favorite aliens. We're going to write them down. We'll show you what they look like. And then if one alien's mentioned quite a few times, then that's the winner of the alien showdown. And then we'll also cover a little bit about gatekeeping into the Star Wars cosplay community and kind of how to overcome those obstacles. And then we'll accept Q&A from you guys. So if you have questions about how to make costumes, resources, anything like that, how to join the 501st or get into the community for Star Wars, we'll answer those questions after as well. So thank you for joining Michelle, Ray, and Chris. We're happy to have you here, and it's gonna be Star Wars Day. I mean, I'm super excited about this. Yay. Oh gosh, this is what happens. So Kelly, what got you into Star Wars, like doing what you do for the community? How did you get started?
Okay, so my introduction to Star Wars is actually kind of a funny story. So way back when I was in high school, this was before the prequels came out, and Lucasfilm was re-releasing the original movies in the theater. And I had not seen them yet, so I was still like in high school because, like Amber, I was raised a Trekkie. So my best friend drags me to the movies to watch them, and so it's episode 4, and so we sit down, we get the popcorn, go through the trailers, and the opening scroll happens, and I was like, episode 4, A New Hope. Wait, where's 1, 2, and 3? What am I missing?
What did you do, Commander Kelly? You've cursed us all.
I know. I was like, wait a second. So it was kind of funny that happened. And so, of course, after that, I went home. I was able to find a box set and like watched all 3 movies. And so I kind of got out of my nerddom in my 20s. I think I'm probably the oldest person right now. But I started working for Phoenix Comic-Con, Phoenix Fan Fusion, Phoenix Comic Fest, whatever you want to call it, several years ago, and I got introduced to the 501st. I actually, because of all the con memories that are coming up, yep, there's my page, all the con memories that are coming up. That's actually Tammy, one of my fellow friends. So that picture, if you go back one, that first picture, oh no, go back one more. In the top row next to the Star Wars May 25th, 1977 with the clone trooper to the right. Go over to. So that is my very first picture with the 501st Legion. Ooh. And he is now one of my very best friends. So
he's awesome.
Yeah, Tim's awesome in that clone. Mm-hmm. So this was back in 2013, if I can do my math right. Mm-hmm. So that was my very first introduction to the 501st. Like, I had seen them, but that was actually the year I spoke to them and was like, oh, you can make a simple costume to join? Done. Mm-hmm. So that's me and my Jawa right there in the front. And yeah, so then I joined in 2017. I started with the PR part of the group. Then I moved into the executive officer, and in 2020, right before the pandemic, I was elected commanding officer for the Jinx, and then the pandemic hit, and then we all got bored. So, yep. So yeah, it's super fun. We have a pretty good time.
Just to kind of butt in here, just in case anyone's not familiar with the terminology, the 501st Legion is specifically Star Wars costumers who do like the bad guys, like the Stormtroopers and Vader and stuff like that, for charity events. Yep. The other groups that fit into that are the Rebel Legion, who do like the Jedi and the Mandalorian mercs, and then there's a couple others. But yep. When we talk about the 501st, we're talking about the charity cosplay aspect of things, which I think is a niche that is really just freaking awesome. So.
And we've tried to do a lot of our charity stuff even through the pandemic. Like, we still raised money for the MS Walk and Relay for Life while we could. So we definitely tried to make sure we were doing stuff still. So that was my introduction to Star Wars.
Well, that's great. Like I have I've been considering joining one of the charity groups, but then all of these things keep happening, with CosTalk Live and other stuff, and like it's one of those things, like I just donate money instead. I'm just like, here you go.
Well, and we cross-pollinate a lot too. So like my Jawa is in both the 501st and the Rebel Legion. And so like everybody's in everybody else's group. So it's once you join one, you end up joining another. It's fine.
I'm official with the Mandos, but you know, obviously I know the 501st people and the couple Rebel Legion people too. Couple.
So, Amber, since you've also been in like Star Wars, how did you get introduced to the community?
So it's so funny because when I say I was raised Star Trek, what I mean is I never saw the Star Wars movies until I was like in college and beyond. Like, they were already out when I was in high school. It was already established, everything like that, and I was full on. My household was Trek. You know, my Trek was Voyager. So get into college, watch the movies, go, these are not good movies. I don't know why people like these movies. I just kind of moved on with my life. I was just like, okay, like, yeah, Star Wars, it's over there. I get it. And then we actually went to, I think it was that same Phoenix Comic-Con in 2013. I went as Star in Steampunk. And we found the Star Wars neighborhood. And I remember losing track of my husband at that point. And I'm like, I don't friggin' know where he is. And he comes back with one of the Mandos and goes, look at this armor. And I remember the Mando next to him, like pulling his chest piece off and like handing it over for me to look at. And my husband's like, we should make this armor. And I'm like, yeah, okay, dude, we're going to make that armor. No, like that's not going to happen. And, 9 years later, I'm making that armor quite a bit. So my introduction was really through the vein of cosplay. For Christmas that year, my husband got me a set of Leku. And then we got into Clone Wars, we got into Rebels, and a lot of the expanded universe is kind of where I found my niche. I have a very... Like, I appreciate the movies for what they are, but I don't have any of the nostalgia or love for them like a lot of people do. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. The expanded universe is kind of where I found my niche and really connected with the material. So it's kind of fun coming in from being raised a Trekkie and people being like, the movies. And I'm like, I don't really like, I don't mind them, but I've never once in my life been like, I want to sit down and watch the movies. So
Clone Wars is the best.
Clone Wars is so good. Well, I mean, once you get into the meat of the story, season 1 and 2 of Clone Wars is kind of rough because they're like
kitty. Yeah.
All over. Like there's like no like overarching storyline. But once my girl gets introduced and then it starts telling longer stories, I'm like, all right, I'm here for this. So
Clone Wars is on my list to watch. I've tried several times. The animation style is just like so ugly. I can't.
So they
I
actually
can't like do more than an episode at a time. Like
I'm just like comics, Liz. They have Clone Wars comics, and there's also books.
Okay.
So if you want to read the books and you want to read the comics, you can do that and bypass the animation.
Okay.
I
watch an episode and I feel like the whole time I'm like looking at it like sideways, like out of the corner of my eye. Like I can't look at it directly. It's like looking into like a predator's eyes or something. I can't do it.
The animation,
I don't know what happens. I've heard good things.
The animation has come a long way, like with Bad Batch, and then going back and watching the original Clone Wars. It was like,
God.
Damn, okay.
Like the details in Bad Batch, like there's like weathering on their kits and stuff like that, and I'm just like,
and this is the stupidest thing to recognize, but them walking off their ship is so different than every other one. Like it's just incredible. So if you can get through it, I highly recommend it because Clone Wars. Those first 2 seasons are typical of like with Resistance, very aimed at kids and kind of sporadic, like Amber said. Yeah. But then it starts getting into the meat and potatoes, and it becomes so good.
I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying so hard.
I can send you the guide for watching all of the episodes related to the clones, and that might help you. Like, I'm sorry if my camera jiggles. The cat's over there fucking around in the window. Sorry. Anyway, but I can send you the episode list for the ones specifically for the clones, and then it's a cohesive storyline, and the storyline might grab you.
Sure. Okay, yeah, that's fine with me.
We've got a bunch of comments, guys, so let's kind of work our way through a little bit. Michelle Wittenberg-Cates is looking awesome. Working on a Mando cosplay, and I have no idea what to do for the armor. When you get around to that, any tips would be helpful, so we'll get to those. Ray G says, I'm working on an approvable second sister and TIE pilot, so excited for this episode. Anthony says, congrats on the 50th episode. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Love all your costumes. Let's see. Yep. I love the 501st. Which Clone Wars is what Michelle said. So
there's the
awesome
movie.
Yeah, go ahead, Kelly.
So there's the Clone Wars movie that came out first, and then there's the Clone Wars TV series. The Clone Wars movie does kind of fall in a couple of episodes. There's a really good guide out there that's like, here, watch Clone Wars in this order, and it will tell you, like, start with these episodes, watch the movie, then keep going with these episodes in this order. So when we're talking about the Clone Wars, we're talking about primarily the series and the movie, not Attack of the Clones episode 2.
Oh gosh, when is anyone ever talking about episode 2?
Okay, episode 2 has the Varactyl in it, and I love Varactyls. So, like, episode 2.
Oh,
Natalie Portman, though.
I feel like the whole assassination chase is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then, like, I just
all the
like
awkward
fall
talk
asleep. I don't even.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even tell you like what happens in the movie other than like bad dialogue. Like that's the only thing that I remember, like from that movie.
Bad. It's so
and, like Obi-Wan kind of looks like Jesus in it. Like just, there's a lot to unpack in Clone Wars.
There is.
Or Attack of the Clones, rather.
Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars does take place before the movie. So the Clone Wars movie. So it does have a little snitch in there. So.
And Vaughn says, I don't know if you guys, did you read his comment? I remember meeting some 501st guys at their booth while wearing one of my gas masks. And the first thing he did was ask if it was real while covering the intake on my filter. Yes, it was real.
Can't take them anywhere. This is why.
I need to breathe. Yeah. And like Star Wars is, because it's so large, because you've got legends and you've got canon and there's so much to reference. You have the movies, you have the animated movies, you have the animated TV shows, you have the comics, the books. There's some games too. So like it's a very massive universe. It's kind of similar to like how you've got DC and Marvel that outstretch everywhere. Star Wars is the same thing. And there's you know, DC and Marvel have like the OG versus like the new versions. Well, we have the OG versus, we've got Legends versus canon. So it is massive, and it is definitely like probably overwhelming for like an early fan to jump in. And like if you want to jump in and you're not sure where to start, and one of the best places for information are like Wikipedia. You go there and they actually, like Amber referenced, they actually have a watch guide. So if you want to figure out where you should start, or a read guide if you prefer to read. And if you're a Star Wars gamer and you want to figure out where should you start there, they also talk about that stuff too. So yes, Star Wars has its own Wikipedia called Wikipedia. That's how big it is.
There are definitely some medias that are easier to engage with initially than like others. Like I would say Mandalorian season 1 is great to engage with if you don't know anything about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Season 2, I feel like it did a good job of being still accessible while also for those of us going, oh my God, it's friggin' Bo-Katan! We were like, it's friggin' Bo-Katan! And the Force Unleashed game, I know people rave about that game. Yeah. So there's definitely certain Star Wars mediums. Like going straight into the Bad Batch might be a little rough. Yeah. Just because there's so much contextually, like you need to know that they're all clones of Jango. Like, so that one might be rough, but there are definitely certain medias that are easier to initially engage with than others that require less context, I would say.
I'm a very casual Star Wars fan myself. Like, so I mean, it's good to know. I feel like, you know, I've seen the 9 movies and then like Rogue One and Solo and, but as far as like some of the, you know, we watched The Mandalorian, love that. But yeah, I didn't even know there was a Clone Wars movie. I was like, oh, this is news. Like, okay, I'm gonna start taking notes. So
it is not animation style though, so just as a warning.
I'm kind of like aware of some of that other extended universe stuff, but I haven't really experienced all of it myself. My sister was definitely the big Star Wars fan. I think that's how I got introduced to it. She's a bit older than I am. She's about 12 years older. So like when I was like little, she would watch like the movies, and that was probably the first time I saw them.
I'm totally the same with you, Liz. I've watched all the movies. I haven't really gone that far into all the other compilations. But yeah, like my brothers are also like 10 years older than me, and they were really into like the first trilogy. It's kind of sad because I grew up with the second, like episodes 1 through 3, because that was when I was old enough to kind of understand what was going on. And I know they're not the best ones. I love Natalie Portman though.
She's so pretty.
I still love her. Like,
so pretty, Padme.
Yeah, anyone who's like the first 3 movies aren't good, I'm like, yeah, episodes 4 through 6 aren't good either. Like, they're still fun. Like,
but her costume designs in those first 3 movies are mind blowing.
They're like on my to-do list, but I would say that the last 3 are my favorite, and that's me. That's just me. The last 3 are my favorite.
I want to do a Padme outfit, but how do you even choose?
I know there's so many. Episode 3, like. So
anytime I picked one, I like see another one. I'm like, oh yeah, that one.
And that's the beautiful thing of Star Wars is you don't have to like. There's like a lot of people like to jump at it for aliens because they have really cool aliens, but you don't have to do aliens if you just want to do a normal human. Holy smokes, there's just as many outfit options. Like,
you want to be a smuggler? Let's be a smuggler.
So Liz, I'll make one of them. You'll make another, and then we'll just swap.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Cool.
Well, and I feel like Star Wars has such a distinct style that you can do like an original character, and people know that you're supposed to be from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that universe is so defined. It's amazing.
Right.
Yeah, my first 3 Star Wars costumes were all original characters. I did not do any specific characters. So. Yeah.
There's little things with costumes with the Star Wars universe that just make it Star Wars. It's no zippers, no buckles.
Lots of
attachments. Lots of like stripy things. It's an interesting fusion between modern and like 80s vintage. Yeah. So like you gotta like think, can I make this like modern and futuristic, but also feel like it's off of an 80s set at the same time? And if you can hit that. Like, that's the sweet spot.
Nice. All right. So what we got going on next?
Well, so I mean, we were talking about like aliens, and we've kind of like gone through like before when we were planning for the stream, I asked everybody to kind of come up with aliens that they like and know from Star Wars. So we'll start with Commander Kelly, and then I'll look up the alien to show you guys what it looks like. But what are your top 5 Star Wars aliens, Commander Kelly?
Do you want me to just list all 5?
Yeah, let me go ahead. Let's do one at a time so that I can plug them into Wikipedia.
Well, Jawas have a very special place in my heart.
Oh, they're little rat people.
Oh, Titty!
So I do have some of my costuming stuff sitting here, but I've got my mask that I wear. So my little Jawas. Yep.
Jawas are awesome.
Yeah. The Chiss, because of Thrawn.
The what?
Chiss.
Oh, the Chiss. Okay.
Yep. CHISS. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know way too many aliens. I have a lot of obviously. I mean, come on, Thrawn's like the best known Chiss. Like,
There's a couple of Chiss in the comics too, but definitely I think Thrawn is the only one we've seen.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the Chiss in the comics. Yep.
And then, and then the Wee Quay.
Oh gosh, I can't remember how to spell that. Do you know how to spell that?
I know, just look up Hondo.
Yeah, look up what?
Hondo. Hondo? Yep. No, HOND. HO.
Wait.
Yep. Hondo Anaka.
Oh, where's what? Oh,
There he is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Wait, Quay, that's how you. My gosh, like some of these names too. You're like, wait, how do you write that down? What?
Here's the interesting note about Star Wars, which really is just fascinating to me, is that so much of the accepted Star Wars lore is literally what fans got together and agreed upon. Because you don't hear the word Weequay, you don't even hear the word Twi'lek, you don't hear any of this in the actual movies. What happened is, after the movies and after everyone started going, oh, what about these two? You know, Star Wars started being like, oh yeah, these were the Weequay, and oh, these people called these the Twi'leks. We'll go with that. So a lot of like Star Wars canon is really kind of fan sourced in the Legends universe. So much of this is just made up by nerds who are like, oh, I love this particular, NPC. And then they made up a whole story about him. Like every character in that cantina scene has a backstory in a book and like a Wikipedia entry.
Yep.
It's all made up by fans. Like,
yes. So my next one is the Twi'lek. I do love Twi'leks. Very, very much. And I would love to make a Twi'lek officer, but I know that would never fly in the Empire. So. Yeah.
I mean, my answer is do it and then troll the babies, but like, yeah, for official status, you can't.
I mean, I do my 50s officer anyway, so I could just throw some Liku on there and it would be fun. And then, of course, the Togrutas. Oh, she's adorable.
I love her so much. Okay, and then Togruta, you guys, what's up? But yeah.
And Chucky. Gotta love them.
So those are your favorite ones?
Yep.
All right, who wants to go next? Who wants to talk about their favorite Star Wars aliens? This is like Nani. This is like Nani.
Okay, guys, I'm such a basic fan. I don't even have like a top 5. Like, I don't think I could name 5.
Still that
I just learned like 5 new names. Whatever cute ass species Grogu is, and then Wookiees. Those are like the 2 that I know.
Liz, before you showed up, I told Sam the same thing. I'm like, look, my favorite is just Baby Yoda, Grogu.
Yeah,
like, don't ask me because I die over him.
This is friggin' adorable.
They don't have a name. This species has never been named. It is literally known as Yoda's species.
Yeah, it doesn't have a name.
Yeah,
so
there's only been 3, and there's only been 3 of its kind, right, so far.
Yoda, Yaddle, and Grogu.
Yeah.
And I think, what's kind of interesting about like Grogu, I think, is I think it was kind of a risk to center so much around him, because I remember when we first saw his appearance in The Mandalorian, there were like a lot of people who were like, oh my god, that thing is so cute, right? But I remember there were quite a few people I know who were like, oh my god, that thing with its like creepy dead eyes, like I can't look at it. And then I do think that was kind of a risk. Like, you could have had a lot of people who were like, that thing ain't cute. That thing is weird.
I think Disney
they kind of centered so much on him and like probably had a lot of merchandise in the works. It's like, please find this thing cute. Please.
I think Disney knew what they were doing. I think they knew. And one of the best decisions I've ever made. A Baby Yoda, come on, like, oh my god, I die every single time.
So cute.
He's so adorable.
Cute. But to know that he's gonna grow up and look like that is like,
Yeah, but Yoda's like 900 years old, so he's got some growing to do before he gets to look like that. He's only like 50 at this point. So
Alan Tudyk's robot in Rogue One, is that an alien species? I like him too.
Oh,
I guess that's more of a cyborg.
He's a droid.
That's fine.
Yeah,
you like cyborgs and aliens.
Yeah, that's
and,
not.
robots.
I guess it's not an alien, but
yeah.
BB-8, does that count as an alien?
It's fine. That works. So literally no one's mentioned the aliens I love. So we're just gonna go next to Amber and see if any of my aliens get mentioned, and then I'm just gonna be the odd one out and be like, none of my aliens are awesome.
Well, my number 5 was also Weequay, because Hondo is like the best ever.
The
Like,
best.
honestly, like they just need a Hondo show of him. I mean, it'll work. Pirates of the Caribbean was like centered around a Hondo-esque character, and it went for like a bajillion movies. So like Disney, hello, give us Hondo. We want it.
Hondo's the best.
Yeah.
I love the Tumblr post that was like in an alternate universe of Star Wars when Obi-Wan and Luke walk into the cantina and he just and Obi-Wan just hears Obi-Wan and he's like, fuck my life. It's
the dream. It's the dream. Number 4 is Zabrax. There are 2 main types of Zabrax. There's Dathomirian Zabrax and Iridonian Zabrax. Dathomirian Zabrax tend to be yellow and black or red and black or white because they're on the moon of Dathomir, which is a magical place. That was an Iridonian, so he's a Dathomirian. Iridonians tend to have more tan and brown coloring. So Zabrax, gotta love my Zabrax. Number 3 is my next big cosplay goal, and it's the Chagrians. It's Chagrian.
Ooh.
Yeah, and you're gonna recognize this dude. So they got those cool horns and like tentacles. I guess I just like Star Wars aliens with tentacles. I'm sorry, guys. Oh my god, I've miscounted. I have like 3 more.
That's fine. Go for it.
Okay. Tied for second then is Togruta and Nautilin. We haven't talked about Nautilin.
So yeah, I'll type in the Nautilin. We already looked at the Togruta.
Yeah. So Nautilins are the squid people. And Kit Fisto's my favorite. If you guys go back and watch like episodes 1, 2, and 3, like watch for Kit Fisto in the background because
he's so cool.
He is, but it's also hilarious because you can 100% tell when he's CG'd and when he's practical effects. Because the practical effects, he's like this the entire time because the headpiece is so stiff. And then in the battle in episode 2, I think it is, when all the Jedi are fighting the droids, spoiler alert, he's like flipping and moving, and you're like, that's CGI'd right there. Like, there's no way that dude who was like.
And he's awesome in Clone Wars.
Yes,
absolutely.
In Clone Wars is where he shines, because I don't even think he speaks in the movies.
No, he doesn't.
Maybe like one thing in episode 3, but like, yeah, he's very awesome in Clone Wars. So I like the Nautilins, and then of course number 1 would be my Twi'leks. I mean, gotta rep the Twees. So interesting note about Twi'leks is the name comes from, and this is again what I love about Star Wars, is how weird it is. Twi'lek is short for twin Leku because they have 2 Leku on their head, which posits that other species have singular Leku, because if Leku stood for 2 fleshy tentacles, they would just be called Lekus instead of twin Lekus. So, you know, just a little tidbit about Twi'leks.
I'm learning so much. Like, I'm gonna start taking notes, you guys.
There'll be a quiz afterwards.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I gotta write this down.
I once had a guy, speaking of gatekeeping, I once had a guy walk up to me, and I was in like a blue Twi'lek too. I think it was actually in Rio, which made this comment even funnier to me because I was like, oh my God, are you serious? I was in a blue Twi'lek, and I was in a more scantily clad costume, and guys men specifically love to try and gatekeep me or nerd check me when I'm in scantily clad costumes. And he comes up and he's like, great Twi'lek, but you know, that color's not really canon. They don't come in that color. And I was like, boy, sit down. We about to have a lesson right now. And my friend who was with me was like, it was so fun watching his eyes get bigger and bigger and bigger as you would not shut up. So
well deserved.
Like step at me, son, when it comes to Twi'leks. You know, don't nerd check me here.
I love that costume, by the way. Like
the yellow one, Deshala.
The sparklies.
It's so funny because that outfit started its life as like the ugliest dress from Forever 21 you have ever seen. Like it was a sequined like straight down like moo thing. So I chopped off the lining and I turned it into a crop top, and like I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. Like we got it for $5, like literally.
That's a good idea, though.
Yeah, so I just like ripped it apart, and I was like, well, it's either gonna work or it's gonna look real stupid. But I think
that's like all of cosplay, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's either gonna work or it's gonna be real stupid. But we're gonna have fun wearing it.
It was only $5, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So
happened.
as a random thing, I did I went to the, I don't know where this tour went, but it was the Star Wars Identities tour. I was actually in wait, where was I? I was in Austria at the time, and like we made our own like characters, and mine actually ended up being a Twi'lek. So
there you go.
Can I share it? Let's see.
Yeah,
I
I'll stop this, and then I'll go to my favorite. And like you guys mentioned a couple of my favorites now, so yay.
Good.
That was what my Twi'lek looked like. I was like, "This is cool." This is before I met these guys, these cosplaying Twi'leks. So this is before I met you guys.
Well, now Jinx, I don't think they actually come in that color. Like,
so that was this is my friend that was with me.
That to me, like when I was in that costume, I'm like, really, boy, how do you think this is gonna go? But yeah, that's a fantastic Jedi.
I love it.
I think I need to cosplay that too.
Good.
My two favorites are the because we've already mentioned Twi'lek, Nautilin, and Zabrak, so 3 of mine were covered now. But I really like Ugnaught.
Oh, this guy!
He's awesome.
I love him.
I was like, Ugnaught's are great. Okay,
he's great.
Like, this is awesome. And then the other one, this is gonna look so inappropriate, but the minute I saw this alien, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a walking penis, and now I'm in love because it makes me laugh so freaking hard. I just laugh so hard at these aliens. Like, I mean,
my god, yeah,
oh my god,
come on,
yeah,
come on, you could not have not. How did you not know?
I just want to say props to the Star Wars like prop and costuming department for like having so much fun with this freaking movie. Like,
yeah. And I mean, apparently they're supposed to be mole people, but I was just like, ah.
Little phallic.
Like it's just
a little, yeah.
I can't help it, guys. I can't. Like, so
you're not wrong. I mean, you described it accurately.
Yeah. So far, apparently the top alien is the Twi'lek.
Yay!
So, and then coming in second place is the Togruta, then the Weequay, the Nautilins, and the Zabrak.
I mean, like honorable mention to all the other cool random aliens out there, like the Mickeans, which are like they have like floating head tentacles. Why does every character I like have tentacles? Anyway,
it's called hentai and it's art. Actually.
So we've got a couple of comments. We'll go through the comments. Oh gosh, where did we end? Okay, so Michelle said that they love Jindy T's Clone Wars animated short film. And then obviously we talked about the scale of Star Wars being so amazing that you can do OC or you can do existing characters and people just kind of know that you're doing Star Wars. And then there's the Old Republic too. Like the Old Republic, like the Sith and the costumes there are a little bit different than the new. So it's really fun to kind of play around with the different eras as well, right?
Yeah, because the Old Republic is completely different from the kind of accepted canon Star Wars as far as the movie era. Because back in the Old Republic, which is 10,000 years before the existing movies, you had the Mandalorians who had just almost taken over the galaxy. So they were this massive warlike force. You had Sith purebloods at that point. So like the original Sith. And
before they all died out.
Yeah, there weren't just 2 of them. There was a
bunch of them.
Yeah, you had literally hundreds of Jedi. So you had this massive battle between the Jedi and the Mandalorians, and then right on the heel, the Sith Empire shows up, and you have a massive battle between the Sith and the Jedi. So Old Republic is a great era.
Yeah. So, and we've got people saying that they want to do Twi'leks, and so this is kind of in the portion of the stream where we wanted to like start talking about resources. So if you have questions about how to build something, patterns, resources, stores, start posting them now, and we'll start talking about where we shop, what we use, and how we create our alien and or humanoid looks. And also armor, because one of the big things I'm going to tell you is that if you go to Etsy, there are tons of patterns for Star Wars armor there, and they're really easy to scale. So you just print them out on your printer, and you add or add seam allowance or remove seam allowance, and right there you don't even have to make your own patterns. Like honestly, I don't think you really have to make your own patterns for any Star Wars. There's something out there for you.
There's Star Wars patterns at Joann's. If you go to Simplicity, like where's my friggin'
They do have clothing patterns now, and some armor. Yeah.
Good to know, because I gotta make the Bo-Katan armor, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's cosplay defined, right?
I got the helmet, and the helmet's like amazing. It's incredible. And I was like, oh no, I've done a bad thing.
You can do it. We believe in you.
Make sure you guys get pictures of just my head.
I got you, babe. I got you. Seriously though, if you come over to my house, we will have it templated out and cut out within 4 hours.
Okay, good, because I need all kinds of help.
You can do it.
Well, I'm working on my second foam project right now. Aqua was my first one. I like made all the foam armor from start to finish, and it's done. And and then I'm working on one right now that Sam's gonna help me paint this week. But I'm like not confident at this moment in making it by myself, like a Star Wars armor. I'm like we're not there yet.
Well, that's why we have cosplay friends.
Oh yes.
Here's where I get to pimp out Kelly and the other Star Wars clubs. All of your clubs, 501st, Rebel Legion, Bando Mercs, they have ways to help prospective members and guide them towards completing their costumes. And obviously those guides are for completion and then application into the costuming clubs. But even if your goal is just to make a costume to hang out with other people at conventions, there are tons and tons of resources on the 501st board, on the Rebel Legion board, on the Mando Mercs board. And here in the Valley, I know the Mandos have regular armor parties.
Starting to.
Yeah, the 501st has the meet and greets, right?
And the armor parties too. Yep.
Yeah. So
okay. I need someone who can like gently hold my hand through this.
So it's interesting because Bo-Katan will fall technically in the 501st and the Mandalorian Mercs, because she technically is kind of a bad guy. But we still love her.
She's got her reasons.
Yes, she's got her reasons. Which is interesting because I know a lot of cosplayers do a lot of foam stuff because it's easier to mold, it's easier to work with, it's lighter. Trust me.
Is it though? Like
it's much cheaper. But we do, the 501st does run into, we don't do foam. We don't do foam at all. We do plastic. Lots and lots of plastic. So that's a lot what you'll see for Mandos. But I know with the, I'm sorry, with
Sam, oh my god.
Yeah, there you go. But and so with I've watched Mandos make their chest armor, and particularly females, because it has to be molded to. And as females,
unless you have little boobs like I do, then you're good.
I do want to go like the plastic route.
Nobody knows.
Well, because I feel like the plastic is just kind of more Star Wars.
Yes, very much so.
Rather than the foam. But I mean, okay, so I started as a seamstress, so working with foam is very, very difficult for me. It just does not seem to do what I would expect it to do. at all.
Plastic does the same for me. I actually, in my closet right behind me, I have a Phasma sitting in there in a box.
Nice.
He needs to be cut out. I was gonna grab her so you guys can take a look, but I've got her helmet here too. But
I love Phasma.
Oh yeah.
She's the boba of the new trilogy.
And to
But
go
yeah,
to
like Amber was showing, she's all plastic. So, so
Ooh.
resin.
Dang.
Amber, is that resin or is it?
Nope, this is Sintra. I dished
Oh, okay.
it. So I made my boobs out of a single sheet of Sintra.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh my
Nice boobs.
gosh.
I like how it says in.
Is it possible to learn this power?
The boobs go in, right? That's where the boobs go in.
Will you bribe me with chocolate?
I will bribe you with whatever you want.
That's a useful, I gotta say, a useful thing if you're female and you're doing Star Wars armor and you do want breast, having like a fiberglass or hard plastic mannequin that you can mold things on
I
top
have
of
one
is
of those.
super useful. Yeah.
Or the
Exactly.
cake dummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have a fiberglass mannequin that is like literally at my ideal weight. I'm getting there. I'm almost back to my ideal weight. Is literally like half an inch off of all my measurements. So I was like, cool. I just have to make everything half an inch bigger and we're done. And so I was like, I found a mannequin that's my height. Yay. Because it's hard to find female mannequins that are like my proportions. I have like a 19-inch torso. Most women only have like a 16 or like, I think it's 16 or 17 max.
Oh.
And I'm like, I've got a 42-inch outseam. That's not normal for a woman. So like,
Being a woman is
taller.
hard.
Isn't sizing just wild? Oh my gosh.
Let me tell you, being an Imperial officer and wearing jodhpurs is the worst. I don't have any more hips. Like, I really don't.
I swear you gotta make the inside, like you gotta find uniform fabric that has at least 50% spandex so that you can actually sit and move and breathe.
Unfortunately, the Imperial officer has to be made out of gabardine. So it's
At least I'm
a
not allergic to
terrible,
that.
terrible, non-breathable.
Yeah, there was like one alien I really wanted to be for the 501st, and it was some kind of wool requirement. And I'm like, I am like horribly allergic to wool. So
Yeah, there's interesting
don't do that.
requirements. It's funny because a lot of the CRLs, the costume referencing library, so like the here's how you need to make your costume, changed when the Blu-rays came out because all of a sudden it went from, oh, okay, yeah, we can kind of see that detail. Oh, now we can really see that detail.
Yeah. You can see where all the seams are and stuff like that. So
The new trilogy in particular is pretty notorious for having, like, with the different versions of the costumes, like differences between them. I made a Last Jedi Rey for a friend on a commission, and like in the different screen caps, the back of the costume changes pretty consistently through the end of the movie. And so I remember we were at a con and someone was like, oh, it's pretty good. Oh, but in the back, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, don't start. I just picked one and that was what we went with because there are several.
Yep, Vader is different in every movie.
yeah,
Every movie. So
because they kept breaking things, so he kept breaking stuff, and so they just had to like put random parts together.
And then by like Return of the Jedi, they actually had a decent budget. So like in Return of the Jedi, he looks amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So if you're thinking of doing like helmets and stuff like that too, I'm gonna highlight if you have like so most helmets are gonna be made for I think a 22.5 to 23-inch head. So if you've got me, I only have a 20.5-inch head. So my head's very small. So either be prepared to put padding. What?
Mine's a 22.
What? Amber, it's fine. I have padding.
Isn't she still
Oh,
in
I'm
cat?
sorry, my cat's fucking listening.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
Damn it,
Sam,
Jesse.
why is your head so
I put
small?
like furniture fold inside
Sam.
to pad my head because I just know that my head's really small. Or I highly recommend finding a 3D printer and having it have them scale it down. Because I actually had a friend scale down a Mandalorian helmet for me, and now it fits perfectly, and it's not too wobbly, and it's very well balanced.
Yeah, you don't want the bobblehead effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can give anyone,
I just said this little head. It's a curse.
Well, this
if I can give anyone one piece of advice is if you are new to armor building, don't start with the helmet.
Yeah,
It is the most complicated. Either buy the helmet from somebody who makes them, or build a bunch of armor and then try the helmet.
Yeah, if you're working on a low
Yeah, this
budget,
one was made to my measurements.
right?
And it
If
fits
you're
really
working
well.
on a little budget, they sell like Boba Fett helmets on Amazon for kids for really cheap, and they're huge. Like honestly, they must be wobbling like crazy on kids' heads, and they're really easy to cut apart. And so you can add your own details to them and create your own bucket for like $20.
Yep.
And then if you're going for approval, there are plenty of guides on how to modify rubies and stuff like that. I know some makers, like I sell my buckets for $80 and they're just like a basic blank. A lot of times you can buy 3D prints for like $20 and then you just have to find someone to print it for you. So
well, and we were talking about Imperial officer uniforms. Amazon has 2 sites that actually sell Imperial officer uniforms that are 501st approved.
Cosplay Sky. Cosplay Sky.
Yeah. So just look for the 501st approval or the Star Wars approved stamp on it. And if it has like this is Star Wars approved, then the 501st is probably going to be like.
And you can always, like, when stuff like that happens, like almost, I would say 98% of the time, that's fine. But it's always one of those where err on the side of caution and reach out to your local group just to be like, hey, it says this, is this going to be okay?
Yeah.
And there are a couple of vendors, like I know in Mando, the Mandalorian Mercs, we are constantly fighting against this vendor called Shu-Yuan because he says he's Mando approved, but his armor is so crappy that it's been banned. So like if you buy that armor, you literally can't get approved with it because they'll just be like, no, we don't want any of his armor. So again, if you're going for approval, the best place to start is on the boards. Even if you're not going for approval, if you want to like vet a vendor before spending several $100s, you know, boards and costume groups will have advice for you. If you're not going for approval, like obviously like, you know, vetting the vendor just to make sure you're not going to get scammed is great. But you do have a lot more leeway as far as
if you're not comfortable in like the internet or doing stuff like that, events are slowly starting to return. They're slowly starting to come back. So when an event comes back, just go to the booth, the Star Wars booth, and ask some questions and get some resources.
You know, like Amber Brite props. That's a great one to start at, right?
Like,
We'll answer all the questions.
Can I plug myself right now? Like, if you want to do an alien for Star Wars,
you can only shamefully plug yourself.
Okay, well, I'm gonna shame. Like Zabraks are one of my favorite because if you want to do an alien, like these are just like literally glued on and like with just a drop of prosade because I didn't want them to stay on all day. So like they'll just like pop right off. But like it's Star Wars has aliens where you can take like your casual smuggler or your Jedi or whatever, and then just elevate it. And I've got.
And there are a lot of aliens that have like the neutral skin tones too, like all the human skin tones. But a lot of aliens that have those, so you don't have to go into some dramatic makeup.
I'm an Iridonian Zabrak today.
You don't. You can be a neutral colored Twilight. Like you can be.
Yes. Yep. That is okay.
Yep.
If anyone tries to tell you you're not okay being a tan Twi'lek, send them to me so I can mama bear rip their throat out.
Well, and the thing is even Star Wars has updated some of their information on Twi'leks. Literally says basically the last time I checked, it was like basically every color that exists.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
we have pretty much proof of every type of Twi'lek, and we have on-screen canon proof of Twi'leks being multiple colors as well. In the Clone Wars, there's kid Twi'leks that are human Twi'lek hybrids, and they're modeled colors. So like,
and they're adorable.
Oh my god, they're so cute. They're so great. Oh,
yeah.
So
yeah. So seems that Twi'lek is easy to transfer to places.
We've got comments, lots of comments here, guys. Have you read where'd you go back to? Joe says
Old Republic, I think, right?
Old Republic. Oh my gosh, where's that? Oh my gosh.
I got it. So we were talking about like you started looking at Etsy for templates, which is a great place to do. And then Joe asked Amber if you have a Twi'lek headpiece in his size yet.
No, not yet. And I'm probably not going to do. I'm probably not going to keep selling Twi'lek Laku. Go to Pam. PNS Creations, I think it is, or PS Creations, I think it is. Hers are so good. Like, and I'm like lazy. I don't like making them.
And she does like bulk stuff too. Like she's just like, here's like 80 of them I'm sending out today. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I've got like 5 over there, but I'm just like, horns are so much easier and they're not as finicky and like, I don't like it.
I want one.
And guys, we've got about 5 more minutes. So if anyone's watching, has questions, throw them in the chat because we've got a little bit of a delay. Michelle says, I have like 3 saved, but there's so much. I was thinking of just getting the helmet. My husband has a long face, so most of the ones in the stores, even adult ones, are too small.
If you go to NME, like the letters NME props, they have buckets in different sizes.
Ooh, that's nice.
They have
Yeah,
small
definitely.
ones.
And Chris says, well, Liz, at least you didn't start your journey into foam crafting with a 7-foot-tall set of power armor like he did.
No, I did not. Although
yeah.
I do think the piece I picked was not easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know,
Wedding cosplay is
it
easy.
my own incompetence too. So. Sam, please help me. I need help.
That's why we have Sam here with us.
Yeah.
And Joey says, "Build."
If you throw something at me, I don't know how to do this. Give me 20 minutes and I'll tell you how to do it.
I know you will. I know. That's why I need your
I
help.
like researching.
Because I made the armor and I still don't know how to do it.
Okay, it's okay. We got you. We're good. So, yeah, so we've kind of talked a lot about like armor, so you can make it out of foam. Just know that longevity, you've only got about, if you're lucky, 2 years, or sorry, if you're lucky 3 years, if you're not lucky, maybe a year and a half. Foam, and this is specifically in hot environments like ours, hot, arid environments, foam doesn't last very long because the heat saps all of the moisture out of foam and it begins to crack and crumble and literally just fall apart into dust. You can seal it and make it last a little bit longer, and you can disinfect it to ensure your sweat isn't breaking it down, but it's not going to be a forever creation. Forever creation would be something like plastic, something 3D printed, something that's been resin cast. So if you want something that lasts long term, then you're going to need to look at resins and plastics, or even silicone pieces. They last up to 15 to 20 years as long as they're conditioned really well. Latex too only has about a 2 to 5 year shelf life, depending on how well you take care of it in hot environments. In cooler environments, you might be able to make it last a little bit longer. You might be able to. I've got a piece of armor that I've kept stored in a cooled tub this entire time, and it's lasted 5 years. But now, it's just it's to that point where I'm gonna have to be like, fare thee well, Amazon. But that's why I started making a lot of armor too, out of like pieces of leather, or if I'm gonna have foam, I coat the foam in fabric or something else that's gonna protect it further. You can take foam and you can fiberglass cast it. Just understand it's highly toxic, and I would not recommend it for a beginner. So for beginners, stuff like thermoplastics or Sintra or 3D prints might be a really good place to start if you want it to last more than a few years.
I built my first Rio armor in 2013 or 2014, and I still have all of the pieces. And they're all still wearable except the boobs because I got an upgrade. But like all of the armor pieces are still wearable 9 years later. So
yeah.
And I want to just touch on our last, I know we talked a little bit about gatekeeping, but I know like me and Liz are totally like on that side of like the casual, fan.
Yeah.
And I think Star Wars suffers from a lot of gatekeeping because obviously the fandom started a long time ago. And it's always okay to like something and not have to know 100% of something, and that's the whole point of being out there is people put stuff out there for people to like, not for just this specific person.
If you're getting harassed online, you can block that person. If you're getting harassed at a convention, you can report that person.
Yes, please do.
You have to take it.
Please report the person. Like that is the biggest thing. Please.
Yeah. I mean, I had somebody run by, smack my butt so hard that it left a welt for 3 days.
I'm sorry, Sam.
To sit on. And so we literally had someone chase him down. Well, the next day, because we couldn't find him in the crowd, but I knew what his face was. The next day we found him, we reported him. He was like a serial butt slapper. He'd have done it to like a bunch of people apparently. And they finally caught him because we were like, that's the guy. And so like the security just kind of snuck up behind him. I think he was like ordering ice cream or something too. He like caught him when he was most vulnerable. But I mean, that's just, you don't accept it as, oh, it's because I'm in a costume. No, you don't have to accept negative attention or
Not
criticism.
accept anything like that.
I mean, speak up and say, I don't appreciate it. That's your opinion. I'm moving on. If they continue to follow you, that is harassment.
Yeah. So, and that includes even verbal harassment. Like Sam's obviously physical harassment, always, verbal harassment, always, like, you know, it's does the same damage, like not the same damage, but you know what I mean? Same amount of damage.
I mean, physical and emotional trauma are very similar. So do not accept it. And first try to de-escalate it yourself. And if it doesn't work, then report.
I do have to say that sometimes the fan groups can be the worst, like online. Sometimes you just need to get away and like, you know, be your own, like in your own fandom or with your own friends. I see sometimes a lot of, like I'm in a Final Fantasy VII Remake group and oh my God, like the toxicity in there is just so stupid. But I don't let it get to me, you know, I just do my own thing. But that's one thing that really affects people is like, oh, I want to be around other people with my same fandom because of course, you know, as geeks, we are, you know, we're very not mainstream. And when we find the group or like, we feel like we have to stick with it. So don't feel like you have to stick with, you know, a specific group if it's not making you feel good.
There are specific Star Wars fan groups out there that are pretty solid, and there's ones that I would avoid at all costs. One of the groups that my husband is in on Facebook is Star Wars for fans who aren't dicks about it.
We should make a fandom group like that for everything.
Yeah.
The aren't dicks about it group.
Like that's the name of it, is Star Wars for fans who aren't dicks about it. And it's one of these things where it's because so much of specifically with Star Wars, I feel like there are kind of two things going on. The Star Wars canon itself is so long, like far stretching. And it's so much of it was created for the fans that I feel like it's created this community that has like a sense of ownership, which can be good because then you feel connected to the source material. But then you have fans who are like, oh, we're gonna like petition to get the Last Jedi remade or something like that, and you're just like,
good luck with that. Have fun with that.
And then as far as cosplay, and I'm sure Kelly has seen this as well, one of the kind of constant kind of struggles with Star Wars, especially if you approach costuming, is that a lot of people are turned off by what they feel is the high standards of Star Wars costuming, because the 501st, the Rebel Legion, and the Mandos, their goal is to create costumes where you could walk on set and look like you belong.
Because
that's an amazing goal. That is an amazing goal. It's not everyone's goal.
Correct.
And so a lot of times I feel like people approach Star Wars costuming, and then other fans who may be approaching it from the mentality of let's walk on set, you know, that can be a disconnect with priorities.
I think because there's so many impressive Star Wars cosplays, people kind of almost assume everyone approaches it with the I want to be able to walk on set kind of attitude. You know?
It's kind of a lot of the fans that are not cosplayers. Like I said, again, in this Final Fantasy VII remake group, I mean, the Tifa cosplay is so simple, and you'll see so many critiques on some. I'm like, oh my God, guys, like, shut up. Like, let them enjoy. They did not say, hey, guys, can you critique me? Because nobody ever does that on the internet with their cosplays.
Unless, like, someone asks, you know. It's probably best to just, like, not say anything unless it's something nice.
And, of course, it's always like, oh, she's not hot enough. I'm like, oh, my God. That's like the worst one that I see.
She doesn't look like a cartoon character? That's so weird.
Yeah.
Anyway. So moving on from that. Michelle, oh my God, Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, yay, hey, I love you too. And Joe says, happy with my casual Star Wars. Like, it just, you do it for yourself. You don't do it for other people.
Like, I'm literally I just have my face painted and I'm walking around in a hoodie with Ahsoka and I'm like,
like, don't get me wrong, like having that movie accurate is great. But at the same time, like, I have my 50th officer and I love doing it. Like, it's fun.
Yeah, I am big on accuracy for myself. Like, that's my personal thing. I don't care what other people do. It doesn't have any effect on me.
And that's also a level of expectation that sometimes the clubs don't quite explain to new people too, is it's like, this, unfortunately, this label right here means it's not always super casual. It means we have a level of standards that we have to keep it.
If you're going to join an official group, you have to keep those standards because they're actually representing Star Wars. They've literally been approved to represent Star Wars. And so they're going to charity events and they're raising money. And they even, like Kelly said, they might actually walk on set. It might actually happen. So
Didn't that happen in Mandalorian with a bunch of stormtroopers?
And they kept that quiet. Oh my gosh. When they announced that at Celebration, everybody was like, wait, what?
Wow.
Nobody
Cool.
said anything, so nobody knew. So when they put that up, everybody was like shocked.
Wow. That's
The
awesome.
only secret humans have ever been able to keep in the history of time.
Let me tell you, keeping a secret in this club, that was a shock.
Wow. All right. So we are actually going to be wrapping it up, guys. It's 5 minutes past. Wow, that was a lot of fun. There's always a lot of stuff to talk about with Star Wars cosplay.
Here, I'll put the helmet back on for our final, our goodbye here.
Love the helmet so much.
So let's go around and tell people where you can find us, and then we have some announcements afterwards. So we start with our guest, Commander Kelly.
You can find us as DuneSeaGarrison.com or Dune Sea Garrison on Facebook, Instagram. We might be on Twitter, but I think we're just on Facebook and Instagram.
Nice.
DuneSeaGarrison.com or on Facebook.
And Amber?
I should probably take this off so I can. I guess.
Oh no, you
So I'm on amberprops.com and I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I think I'm on that new one too that you guys were just talking about, but
Original Glaze.
Original Glaze.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I post some how-tos and stuff like that on my Instagram and my TikTok. I actually just posted last week a how to cut Sintra without a Dremel.
I saw that.
So, if you guys have questions and stuff like that, please follow me. And I'm going to be building a full new Mando armor. So I'll be going through all the steps and planning and how to do it and stuff like that. So, but yeah, amberbrightprops.com and then everywhere else. So
Nice. And how about you, Liz?
I'm Liz from Ambrose Cosplay. You can find me at Ambrose_cosplay on Facebook, Instructables, Instagram, and Original Glaze as well.
Nice.
Original Glaze, that's it.
Sam?
Sam from ThermoCosplay. Go to thermocosplay.com and you'll find me in pretty much every social media except for TikTok because I'm a cybersecurity analyst. And,
I'm getting the hang of TikTok though, and I'm kind of having fun.
Reels. I am on Instagram Reels, and that is if you want to see little videos, you can go find me on Reels.
Nice.
But let's just say that TikTok and its terms and conditions aren't agreeable with my phone, and I use my phone for my job. So
Understandable.
Mm-hmm. And I'm JinxCosplay.com, the Jinx Cosplay on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and that's it. And for CosTalk Live, guys, we stream on 3 platforms every Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight or Mountain Standard Time.
Next week we're going to be streaming from a cabin.
Yes, next week we're actually having a little getaway, so you'll see us all together. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So next week, if you want to see us all together, tune in. And then we are also doing a live stream 4-hour special with Anime Next. So Anime Next is an anime convention in the East Coast, but they are doing something online called Almost Home. And we are going to be one of the featured streamers on Twitch. And that's going to be from 9 a.m. Pacific to 1 p.m. So we'll be covering our normal time, but we're going to start at 9 a.m. And we're going to have different subjects and guests on. So guys, be sure to tune in. We're going to stream on all 3 platforms, but they're going to be doing their whole thing on Twitch. So we are trying to grow our Twitch. So we would appreciate it if you did watch us and follow us on Twitch, but you have your choice. You can watch us anywhere. Share it with your friends. We'll be on the whole time, the whole 4 hours, and we'd love to see you guys there. Yes. Oh, and we do have a Discord. Thank you for pointing out. We do have Discord. I'm sorry that we're not very active on it. I'll throw the link up in our profiles. So yeah, we're excited, guys. Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah.
And thank you, Commander Kelly. And
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll have you guys. We'll see you next week. So bye,
Next
everybody.
week in our little CosTalk cabin. Bye.